A prison cell. Cold concrete walls, a metal bunk, the hum of fluorescent lights. You're locked inside, maybe awaiting trial, maybe serving time. But the real punishment isn't the bars or the guards. It's the invisible eye watching you. Cameras scan your face for signs of unrest. Microphones analyze every word you speak. Sensors track your movements, your heart rate, your stress. And an artificial intelligence, silent and unyielding, sifts through it all, deciding who you are, what you might do, and whether you're a threat. This isn't science fiction. This is happening now, in prisons and jails across the United States and beyond. Welcome to Blackbox, where we uncover the truths they don't want you to know. Today, we're exposing how AI surveillance is turning inmates into test subjects for technologies that could reshape not just prisons, but our entire society. This is a story of control, privacy, and a future we're hurtling toward. Buckle up. It's going to shake you. In 2019, a new kind of surveillance began spreading through U.S. prisons and jails.
Good afternoon. We're thrilled to be presenting AI in criminal justice, automated decision-making tools and technology, from policing to corrections.
Companies like Leo Technologies, Securus, and Global Tel-Link rolled out AI systems to monitor millions of inmate phone calls, promising to catch crimes, prevent suicides, and stop drug smuggling in near real time. One system, called Verus, uses Amazon's speech-to-text technology to transcribe conversations, flagging keywords or phrases chosen by prison officials. In Suffolk County, New York, the sheriff's office secured $700,000 in federal funding to deploy Verus, scanning up to 600,000 minutes of calls a month. The pitch was simple. AI could do what human guards couldn't: listen to every word, analyze every tone, and spot trouble before it started. By 2021, Verus was operating in dozens of facilities across 7 states, including major cities like Houston and Birmingham. Prison officials hailed it as a game changer, claiming it had prevented suicides and uncovered human trafficking. But there was a catch. Inmates, and even their families, had no say in the matter. Take the case of an inmate in Suffolk County, reported in 2021. During a phone call with his father, he mentioned a possible COVID-19 outbreak in the jail and talked about contacting the media. The Verus system flagged the call, not for criminal activity, but because it contained sensitive content. The conversation was transcribed and shared with nearly a dozen prison staff and Leo Technologies employees. This wasn't about safety. It was about silencing a potential whistleblower. The inmate faced no formal punishment, but the incident sent a chill through the facility. Speak out, and the AI will know. Advocates like Stephanie Krent from the Knight First Amendment Institute called this a dangerous overreach, warning that such systems could target inmates who criticize prison conditions. Another inmate, this time in Alabama, experienced the system's flaws firsthand. In 2021, Verus flagged a call because it included the word Mara, which can mean gang in some contexts, but also just group of friends in Spanish. The inmate was questioned about gang affiliations, despite no evidence of criminal intent. The misunderstanding led to weeks of restricted privileges, all because the AI couldn't grasp cultural nuances. Critics, including Julie Mao from Just Futures Law, called this scary and chilling, pointing out that AI's rapid, large-scale surveillance often misinterprets harmless speech, especially from non-English speakers. In Florida, a 2023 report revealed Verus was programmed to record calls containing abogado or abogada, Spanish for lawyer, raising fears that even privileged communications were at risk. For people like Heather Bolin, a Texas woman engaged to an incarcerated man, this surveillance is a daily reality. In 2021, she told Reuters that their 3 daily phone calls were always monitored, leaving no moment of privacy. She feared retaliation if she named the prison, but her story echoes countless others, families caught in the same net, their voices analyzed by algorithms they can't see or challenge. Heather's fiancé was never flagged for crimes, but the constant monitoring made every conversation feel like a test. "We're never able to communicate without being under surveillance," she said. The AI doesn't just listen, it judges, and its judgments can change lives. In Florida, the Department of Corrections took this further. In August 2023, they signed a $2.5 million contract with LEO Technologies to monitor up to 50 million minutes of inmate calls over a year. The Veris system, staffed by company employees working alongside prison officials, scans every conversation, except those with lawyers, doctors, or clergy, for keywords chosen by the state. The data is shared with local, state, and federal law enforcement, even prosecutors. Prison officials claim it's stopped violent crimes and drug smuggling, but the state refuses to disclose which words trigger the system, citing laws that shield surveillance techniques. Denise Rock, head of Florida Cares, a nonprofit for incarcerated people, called it a waste of money that could fund rehabilitation instead. "The public deserves to know what activates this technology," she said. "The tech isn't just about phone calls." In Georgia's Cobb County Jail, a 2024 pilot program introduced AI-equipped jail bots.
The Cobb County Sheriff unveiled a brand new pilot program designed to make its jail safer.
3 jail bots are joining its staff for the next 90 days. 11 Live's Grace King shows us their new roles.
Hello, nice to meet you.
6-foot-tall robots with 360-degree cameras, night vision, and facial recognition. These machines, built by Deka Research, patrol the facility, tracking inmate locations and ensuring they're where they're supposed to be.
45 days of that pilot would be patrolling functions around the facility, and the other 45 days would be patrolling functions inside the facility as well.
Sheriff Craig Owens says they address staff shortages and help with medical emergencies, but there's a darker side. The robots collect data stored by the manufacturer with no clear rules on how it's used or protected. Neil Parsons, a Justice Department researcher, noted there are no federal or state laws regulating AI in jails, leaving inmates vulnerable. One inmate, whose identity was withheld for safety, told NPR the robots made him feel like a rat in a lab. He wasn't wrong. His every move was being recorded, analyzed, and stored, all without his consent. Then there's the case of Michael Williams in Chicago, a stark warning of AI's power to upend lives. In 2020, Williams was jailed for a murder based on evidence from ShotSpotter, an AI-powered system that detects gunshots via microphones. A security video showed his car near the crime scene, and ShotSpotter's algorithm flagged a loud bang as a gunshot. Prosecutors claimed Williams fired the shot, but there were no eyewitnesses or physical evidence. After a year in Cook County Jail, the case was dropped when prosecutors admitted the evidence was too weak. Williams, shaken, told the Associated Press he no longer felt safe in his neighborhood, knowing those microphones were still listening. "The only places these devices are installed are in poor black communities," he said. While ShotSpotter isn't exclusive to prisons, its use in Williams' case shows how AI can turn flimsy data into life-altering consequences. These stories aren't isolated. AI in prisons is part of a broader trend, backed by the Department of Justice since at least 2019. A 2020 report from the Office of Justice Programs outlined AI's role in corrections, from monitoring communications to assessing recidivism risk. Systems like Veris use speech recognition, semantic analytics, and machine learning to build searchable databases of inmate speech, flagging anything deemed suspicious. In New York, Securus's platform has been criticized for logging conversations in ways that could automate racial profiling, according to a 2020 report by the Surveillance Technology Oversight Project. The New York Department of Corrections denied bias, but admitted using Securus alongside other tools. Across the country, these systems are expanding, often with little oversight. This isn't the first time prisons have been testing grounds. In the 1950s and 60s, the CIA's MK-Ultra program experimented on inmates, using drugs like LSD to manipulate behavior. The 1971 Stanford prison experiment showed how surveillance and control can break people psychologically. In the 19th century, solitary confinement at places like Eastern State Penitentiary was sold as reform, but drove inmates to madness. Today's AI systems promise safety and rehabilitation, But they echo those earlier attempts to control the mind, only with smarter tools. The difference? Now the data can be stored, shared, and used forever. The lack of consent is glaring. Inmates are warned that calls may be monitored, but few realize the scale. Millions of minutes analyzed by AI, often including conversations with family or friends. In jails, where many are pre-trial and unconvicted, the surveillance feels especially unjust. Bianca Tylik, head of Worth Rises, pointed out in 2019 that those who can't afford bail face extra scrutiny, while wealthier defendants walk free.
My name is Kenny. I'm 9. Here's me, here's my mom, and here's my dad. He's tall and he's funny. He is in jail.
And do you get to visit him a lot?
No.
Phone calls are a problem because they cost too much, and I have other bills.
It's unfair and subjective, she said. Worse, the $1.2 billion prison phone industry charges inmates exorbitant rates for calls, meaning they pay to be surveilled. Some companies, like Securus, have even recorded attorney-client calls, sparking lawsuits that remain unresolved. Errors are another problem. A 2023 MIT study found that 60% of predictive AI systems in criminal justice had error rates above 20%, yet they're used for parole, sentencing, and housing decisions. In Suffolk County, Veris flagged calls for benign words like Mara, leading to false accusations. In Florida, the secrecy around trigger words fuels distrust. Denise Rock warned that such systems could misinterpret slang or dialects, punishing inmates for nothing. And when mistakes happen, who's accountable? Not the companies, who claim their tech is just a tool, not the prisons, who defer to the algorithms, certainly not the inmates, who bear the consequences. Globally, the picture is just as grim. China's social credit system uses AI to monitor citizens, docking points for minor infractions and banning travel or jobs for low scores. In Hong Kong, intelligent CCTV tracks unusual behavior in prisons, while wristbands collect inmate data. The UK has trialed facial recognition in jails, and Finland uses virtual reality for rehabilitation. But even there, AI's security applications raise concerns. A 2024 UN report warned that unchecked AI in criminal justice could erode human autonomy worldwide, yet funding keeps flowing. In the US, companies like Palantir, which works with ICE and police, are eyeing prison AI, signaling a bigger push ahead. Now, let's speculate. The tech exists to go further, much further. MIT's alter ego can interpret intended speech without a word spoken. DARPA-funded projects are decoding neural signals to predict decisions. These are still in labs, but imagine them in prisons. An AI that flags not just what you say, but what you mean to say, or what you're thinking. A 2024 report from the National Institute of Justice noted AI's potential for real-time risk assessments. But what happens when it's used to judge intent? Could an inmate lose parole for a fleeting thought deemed subversive? Could a family member's call be flagged for emotional volatility? If these systems spread beyond prisons, schools might screen kids for disruptive tendencies. Employers could reject candidates for unstable neural patterns. Governments could detain citizens for suspicious brain activity. This isn't happening yet, but the building blocks are here, and prisons are the testing ground. Resistance is growing, but it's tough. In 2024, the ACLU sued a prison tech company, not Leo Technologies, but a similar firm, for violating inmates' rights. The Stop Prison AI Coalition, formed in 2023, has exposed shady contracts and shut down 2 programs. California's 2025 transparency law for prison tech is a start, but enforcement lags. Albert Fox Kahn from the Surveillance Technology Oversight Project summed it up in 2021. People in the criminal justice system are always the subjects of experimentation. Without stronger laws, that won't change. Zoom out, and this is about the world we're building. A world where algorithms decide guilt before you act. Where privacy is a luxury, not a right. Where your voice, your face, even your thoughts could be scored and judged. We're not just watching this happen. We're enabling it. Every time we accept unchecked surveillance, we pave the way for more, but we can fight back. Share this story. Subscribe to Blackbox. Demand oversight. Support groups like Worth Rises and Florida Cares. Ask questions. If we don't, the next prison won't have walls. It'll be inside your mind. This is Blackbox. We're here to wake you up. The future is watching. Stay curious. Stay vigilant. See you in the next one.